it's dead simple, the situation we're in. Um, if you are the few, and compared with the apparently 8 billion people, we're talking a few in full knowledge of what they're doing. If you are a few, then um, you have to control the many. Now, mathematically, you would think that was impossible and complex, but the foundation of it is very actually simple. If you're faced with a billions of people, and if they're united and realized that there is a common threat and it's you, then it's over. It's over. Game of House of Cards is down. So what you need to do is make sure they don't unite. Number one, you have to get them to believe in something rigidly and unquestioningly. It could be a religious belief, it could be a political belief, cultural belief, whatever. But they must believe it rigidly, because that immediately puts their mind in a box. Because if you are a certain religious belief, then you are not going to go out into the infinity of possibility. Because if you do, you know your religious belief is in trouble. So, and not least, religions tend to frighten people into going there. Ooh, that's the devil, that's the occult. And so you stay in your box, and it's a narrative. And as I've said many times, this global cult that I talk about, this global network of secret societies with a central mission control driving it, they don't care what you believe, so long as you believe it rigidly and without question, because then you are in a box of some sort and not going there. And then that creates a situation where it's perfection for divide and rule, because now you have all these different political and religious cultural belief systems, which you can then play off against each other to divide and rule. So now you've got your target population, because I've heard all the time since I started this 36 years ago, it's impossible for a few to control the world. Well, clearly it's not. Look around. But how do they do it? That's the question. So now you've got these rigid belief systems and you're playing them off against each other. Now they're so busy fighting each other that they're not looking up and seeing actually that the strings attached to all of them are held by the same hand. And the other thing that leads me to answering your question is a simple question. Who are we really? Who are we? How 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 seldom you hear this question. Who am I? Am I this body? What is this reality that I'm interacting with? Because once you realize the situation we're in, which is that we are consciousness, eternal, infinite awareness, formless consciousness, having a brief experience in through a form, a body, a vehicle called human. We are not human. We have to, however, believe we are in some form for the few to control the many. Because once you believe that what you are is human, you are immediately pulled into the material world of extraordinary levels of limitation, and I can't, and it's not possible.
And chaos.
Yeah. So what you are looking for to control the many when you are the few is control of their perception and control of their self identity. Once you've got those two things, you got them. It's over until people wake up from it. And we we are looking at the control of perception up to this point has been through control of information. This is what censorship's all about. We form our perceptions of reality and our perceptions of self-identity overwhelmingly from the information that we receive. Anything from the 10 o'clock news to a Facebook post to a personal experience. From that information, we form our perceptions. Now, our perceptions come from information received, and our perceptions dictate behavior. We behave as we do because we perceive as we do. So if you want to control behavior, and if you're the few wanting to control the many, that's exactly what you want. If you want to control behavior, you must control perception. And if you control perception, you must control information. So censorship is obviously not, for a laugh and a bit of fun. It's essential because if you have people hearing only your narrative, or as near to only your narrative as you can get away with, then there's a very, very good chance that they are going to perceive, therefore behave, according to your narrative. So, and it shows how powerful control of perception is. It's everything. You control people through that. And as we go along, maybe we could get into the structure through which they do it, because again, the structure is relatively simple, but appears to be impossible if you see it only at the level of complexity. And how all
please, take me through that mechanism, because I think maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but I think what you're saying is up to now it's been the control of information.
Yeah,
but we're moving beyond that into this AI fusing. Is that where we're going next?
Yeah. This is where I was just going with this. So up to this point, as you say, it's information control. Where they want to go to complete the job, really, of complete perceptual control, is to connect humans to artificial intelligence via what people like the Google executive Ray Kurzweil calls the cloud. And from that, human perception will no longer come from human thought and human emotional response. It will come direct. So no more even do you have to control information then. You have to just deliver to people the thoughts you want them to have. And what we've had on one side is the hard sell of this from people like Klaus Schwab when he was at the World Economic Forum, Bill Gates, Ray Kurzweil, many others, where they're selling us that when we fuse with artificial intelligence, and people like Ray Kurzweil, that's his book up there, the yellow book, he's claims to be the world expert on artificial intelligence and where it's going. He's talking, and he did this some years ago now, about 2030 being the target year for when this big transformation of AI human fusion starts to happen big time. It's already happening, in fact. So you've got the hard sell. And what the hard sell says is, if we fuse with artificial intelligence, we'll be gods. Will be supermen and super women. Now, there are and have all along been a group of people, a large group of people actually, who, not the majority, but a large group of people that were saying, hold on a minute, I'm not happy with this. I don't like the sound of that. And I'm pushing back on that. And so the alternative media for a long time was saying, this transhumanism, they want ultimate control of us through transhumanism and AI and all that stuff. And then along comes Elon Musk, you see. And I've been tracking Elon Musk for years and years, long before he bought Twitter, now X, because he was ticking the boxes of this agenda for humanity that I've been uncovering for a long time. So I was very interested in him. And so when he was allowed to buy Twitter X, I knew it was a scam. The question was, what form of scam does it take? Well, it didn't take long to find that out on many levels. First of all, Elon Musk positioned himself, because this global cult plays the long game, as an AI skeptic. AI could be the end of humanity. Oh, I'm very worried. And
Right.
then
And for people that don't remember that, he was, when we were hearing about ChatGPT and he hadn't yet rolled out Grok, he was out there in speeches and posts warning all of us about how scary and how it's going to run away and we will lose to it, and we need to be very cautious about it. He was saying that in the early days of, before the previous election, he was saying that quite regularly.
that was positioning himself, because you've only got to look at what's happened since to see that that's the case.
Hmm.
So he then was facing criticism from many in the alternative media. This guy's pushing transhumanism or whatever, and he's not our friend. And then he bought Twitter X, or was allowed to buy it, because the so-called deep state owned it before, quite demonstrably. And Musk, when he bought it, put out these Twitter files saying, "Look, here's the proof that the deep state owned Twitter before I bought it." Yeah, okay. So the deep state had control. We all know that, you and me and many others, of what was posted and not posted on Twitter, right? Yeah, absolutely. So why did they sell it to you then? Why did they sell it to you as self-proclaimed, and it is self-proclaimed, not true, free speech absolutist? Because it was a scam. And what I saw was, almost from the moment he bought Twitter, called it X, and started letting people back, the criticism of Musk from so much of the alternative media that criticized him before just disappeared, because now he's one of us. And he's able to get away with loads and loads of things that he wouldn't have done without owning Twitter X. And then you saw him start to move into bed, basically, with Trump after Trump's alleged assassination attempt. Within an hour, he was supporting Trump, and all the other kind of AI oligarchs came in. And what you have now is two things. You've got Trump as the president, and as I said in his election campaign, this guy is going to tell you what you want to hear. When he gets in, he's going to do things that you didn't think he was going to do, and that he said he wouldn't do. But crucially, he is going to facilitate the mad rush to this AI human fusion and the AI digital control of society. And it took 2 days after his inauguration the second time to wheel into the Oval Office Larry Ellison, Sam Altman, and some other guy to announce this up to $500 billion AI project. I think they called it Stargate, with data centers, etc., which are essential to this AI control system. And since he's gone on and on and on, pushing this whole AI agenda. And what you've got around Trump is this: they've circled the wagons around him. There's Musk, there's Peter Thiel of Palantir, who's getting contracts not just from Trump, but from other countries around the world to advance this um, AI control system and surveillance system. You've got Mark Andreessen, you've got David Sachs, who Trump made his AI crypto czar. And you've got all these other people that are around him, these billionaires that are pushing this agenda. So what you've got is Trump. Um, Basically, he's been brought in to be a wrecking ball to the system that we've had up to this point in my lifetime. And people are saying who support Trump, oh, yeah, he's destroying the deep state, he's destroying the globalist system. Well, no, he's not. You see, there's a technique called creative destruction. And what that is you're starting here at A and you want to go to Z, and you're going in stages towards your ultimate goal, which is AI human fusion and total AI digital control. And on the journey to that, you have different phases. So, what creative destruction is when a phase has served you, served your interest, but you need to go to the next phase. Then creative destruction destroys the previous phase, the previous status quo. So if you look over the 20th century to now, the First World War destroyed the status quo, and the world was not the same in 1918 as it was in 1914. You then had not just the Great Depression in America, but a Great Depression all around the world. And my father was caught in that. And that basically was dismantling the economic system of that time. And then you had the Second World War. That's another creative destruction, which takes it even further on. So the world at the end of the Second World War was absolutely nothing like it was at the start of the First World War. And you had the Bretton Woods Agreement, you had the introduction of the IMF, the World Bank, and the United Nations, and a massive move to the centralization of global power. And from the end of the Second World War, and I was born in 1952, only 7 years after that, to pretty much recently, that system has been the one that's been the system of the world in all its facets and forms. What Trump is doing now, because the next stage is moving rapidly into AI human digital control, that status quo we've had since the Second World War has to go. Because if it doesn't, like all status quos, if the status quo stays and doesn't move, you can't replace it with anything. So you've got to demolish it. And this is creative destruction. And so that's what Trump's been put in there to do, to demolish the system, the current system, in all its forms again, so it can be replaced by this next phase. And around him are the architects of the next phase, which are the AI billionaire oligarchs. And I said, two things, and one was all that. But the other second thing in relation to Musk buying Twitter X is look at what it's become. I don't follow Elon Musk, but my X feed it's like machine gun fire. Right. I mean, the posts under Musk's name are just incessant. And two things are the basis of them. One, dividing and ruling the population by winding one part of the population up constantly, support for Trump. And the other one is that X has now become, could be the end of humanity, X has now become a propaganda, incessant propaganda arm for pushing the AI system. And he's pushing it all the time. He does it through Grok and all that stuff. But what he's doing is pushing this system. Because what he says, this is the soft sell as opposed to the hard sell. What Musk said was, yeah, it could be the end of humanity, but, it's inevitable. That's a massive mind control psyop, that. Because once you're convinced that something is inevitable, you stop trying to stop it and you start trying to mitigate its impact. So you're already weakening your response because you think it's inevitable. And so he's saying because it's inevitable that AI will become more intelligent than humans, if we don't fuse humans with artificial intelligence, then humans will die out. And so you've got the hard sell outcome, human AI fusion. You got the soft sell outcome, human AI fusion. They're taking you to the same point using different rhetoric and different words. And, Elon Musk is the most blatant frontman in his arena of this global cult that I'm talking about. And they're all frontmen. They're all gophers. I mean, if you see them on public display, they're not running the show. They're serving the show. Right. That's the difference.
Are there forces pushing back against this that you've seen? Obviously, since your awakening in the early 90s and what you've tapped into, are there forces pushing back saying we're not going to allow this to happen?
Well, there are, but again, let's look at what the situation is and why. Okay, on one level, why do they want human AI fusion? Because they can then dictate what humans think. Okay, but there's another reason they want that. It's not just control in the sense of whatever we tell them to think, they'll think. That is that level of control, and that's part of it. But there's another level. I said earlier that the true I, the infinite I, is consciousness. This is a vehicle for consciousness to experience this reality. And I can pick those glasses up because I have an external vehicle, if you like, that is resonating within the frequency band of this human reality. Therefore, I can pick them up. My consciousness, your consciousness, our consciousness can't pick them up because the consciousness is operating on such a high frequency. It's like two radio stations sharing the same space, but not interfering with each other. You couldn't pick them up. So we have these vehicles to interact with this reality, this actually tiny reality in truth. And what we are is consciousness. And there's a massive difference between consciousness caught in the human trap of constant perceptual control and expanded human awareness that taps into the greater reality, the greater infinity of reality beyond this human band of frequency. The nightmare for this global cult is that people awaken and tap in to that level of awareness. Now, what we call awakening, this is a word that's thrown around all the time now. People are awakening. People are waking up. What does that mean? What does waking up mean? It means that you are moving out of the myopia of seeing the world the way you're told to see it, and you are opening your mind, literally opening your mind, and tapping in to a more expanded level of insight, awareness, knowledge, knowing, all these things. And that's awakening, because people, watching this show will know, if they've been through this process. They ask questions that I get asked all the time. I can see it now. Why couldn't I see it before? It's obvious, because you were here before and now you're here. Now, stopping that awakening process is absolutely crucial, because without it, the house of cards is all over the floor. And so you've had, for instance, the control of science, which is just another religion with its holy books of scientific orthodoxy. And if you step out of the orthodoxy, you're a pseudo-scientist or crazy. Just as if you step out of the limits of a religion, you're a blasphemer. It's the same process, same mentality. And what science has been used for is to hold people in a myopia of perception of self and reality. And so you have to be in that limitation of perception of reality and self-identity, so you can be controlled. Because once you start to expand your awareness into these greater levels of insight, of knowledge, of knowing, you become increasingly uncontrollable. Because people say, "Oh, this is what's happening." Authority says, "This is what happened. Is what's happening. This is why you must do this. You must do that." From that point of view, "Oh, yes, sir. No, sir. You must know better than me." From that point of view, you're having a bloody laugh, mate. I ain't doing that. I can see what you're doing. So the idea is, we must be held. I mentioned earlier about these belief systems that hold people in limitations of potential perception. But what AI human fusion is all about is so dictating the perceptions of people directly from AI, that once that's in place, we no longer ask questions like, "Who am I? Who's running the world? To what end? What is this reality?" We won't ask questions like that, because AI will not be asking them, and that will be doing our thinking for us. This is where it's going. And and what's happening is, Trump's perfect for them as a diversion, because you wake up in the morning, you go on the internet or whatever, and you're thinking, "What's he bloody done now?" There's so many things going on, and people are looking.
Greenland National Guard in Minnesota. It's.
I've been asking this question for years, but it's even more relevant today. Like, where is God? Where is Jesus? Where is Allah? Where is Buddha? Where is all these deities when people are dying? People are suffering. People like Trump, Starmers, many other so-called quote-unquote leaders of this world. Where is God? Where is the Most High? Where is the loving, compassionate, no nonsensical God? Where is it? Where is he? Where is she? Where is that? Where is it? So you see why religion doesn't matter, people. I wish like most of my people, my community, my country could see this. This whole everything. Everything. God, thank God. Thank you, God, for waking me up. Thank God, let me get that job. Thank God, let me get that money. Thank God for that opportunity. But what about the evil? What about the evil that we are saying, divulging the society, drowning the world? What about that? Why God won't address that? but he'll give you a job, yeah. He'll let you get money, yeah. He'll make your family member get an opportunity. But the bigger issue at hand, the suffering, endless torture. When you have to talk about human trafficking, child trafficking, see with what happened with Epstein thing, where was God? Where is God saying me? And people don't want to ask this uncomfortable questions. They don't want to ask this question, people. Why? When it's so blatant and clear in our face, like this thing is just fairy tale, made up stories. As David Icke say, they just want us to believe in something. It don't matter what you believe in, just believe in something. Just believe. And it's so true, people. It's so true. It's so damn true in this time. Believe in someone. Believe in something. Believe that Trump will save us. Believe that a new politician will come. A new Democratic, a new Republican. Oh, Tucker Carlson? Is Tucker Carlson the new savior? So we're always looking for a savior, people. That's how it's always been and seem like that's how it's gonna continue. So this is where we're at. This is where we're at, people. Believing in. Believing in. One bag of shh, if you ask me. But we have to break that cycle, yo. Abolish beliefs. Abolish belief. No. If you don't know, think about it. But don't hold on to it as a strong belief and fight people, hate people, ostracize people, demonize people because they don't believe what you believe. That's the biggest issue in the world, people. That right there.